Good morning, students. In today's class, we are going to take the story Growing Up by Joyce Carey. As you all know that this is the last story that has to be covered in the syllabus of third year. We have discussed all the stories that have been prescribed and I have given you the critical summary of all the stories. The last story that we take in this class is a story which is titled Growing Up. Before I tell you about the story, let me tell you a few lines about the author. Joyce Carey is a well-known British novelist and a short story writer. He has written many important novels and his few famous novels are An American Visitor, which was written in 1933, The Home Saved, which was written in 1932, and he deals with the problems of life. Now, this particular story that has been prescribed in your syllabus is a story which works on the psychological level. If we just take the outline of the story, it involves Robert Quake, the father, and the two daughters, Kate and Jenny. The whole story revolves around the relationship between the father, that is Robert Quake, and the two daughters, Kate and Jenny. As the title suggests, growing up. Growing up implies that Kate and Jenny, which were once the two young small kids of Robert Quake, have grown and matured into young girls. And at the same time, Robert Quake, who as a father just experienced that his girls are very small, realizes that not only the girls have grown up, but he himself has also grown up. Now, when the story begins, Robert Quake is out for work and now he is returning home. Naturally, when the father is coming back from work, he is excited to meet his two young daughters whom he is fondly attached to. Now, when he comes back, there had always been in the past that the two young girls, they used to hide in the bushes, and when they could see the car of the father approaching, and this was a kind of their expression of love towards their father, the weight that they have been engaged into. Now this time when Robert Quake comes back from the work, he realizes that the girls are no longer waiting for him at the corner to flag the car and to drive home with him. So remember, students, this story moves on a very subtle psychological level. How the process of growing up is so subtle that Robert Quake realizes this only at the end of the story. So the first reference that we have is that when Robert Quake comes home, the daughters no longer, like the previous time, are waiting for him at the corner to flag his car, to stop him and then to come with him sitting in the car. Now when Robert Quake reaches to his house, there is one more important reference in the story, and that is the description of the garden of the Quakes. The garden of Mr. and Mrs. Robert Quake is a garden. It is not exactly a garden, it is a wilderness spot where every plant grows in its own way. There are a number of weeds. It is completely haphazard and nothing is managed. The excuse for the mismanagement of the garden given by the Quakes was that this garden belongs to the children. But as we all know that both Mr. and Mrs. Quake, that is the husband and the wife, didn't have time for the garden. It was not their hobby, and so the garden was in complete mess. What is the symbolic significance of the garden? How does it relate to the story? And what is the relationship between Mr. Robert Quake, the two daughters, and the garden will be discussed when we take up the critical aspect of the story. So when he enters the house, the description of the garden is given, and Robert Quake, like an enthusiastic father, like a loving and a doting father, he comes home shouting, "Hello, hello, hello girls, where are you, where are you?" The first rebuke that he receives in the story is when the daughters do not come and welcome him by stopping his car. The second he realizes that he has entered the house, he has entered the garden, and he is shouting, "Hello children, how are you? Where are you?" And there is no response to it. Finally, he reaches to the garden looking for his daughters. He, in fact, has not even changed his clothes. This depicts the love that the father felt for his daughters, that the very first thing on his priority list was to see his daughters, to show them love, to embrace them, to spend a little time with them. So when he enters the garden and when he starts shouting, "Hello, hello children," there is no response. Further, we are acquainted that he is a little shocked. And I'll read out the lines from the text. The writer says, there was no answer. Answer to what? Answer to the shouting of the father, "Hello, hello children, where are you?" And he stopped in surprise. What does Robert Quick think? They have gone to meet me. I have missed them, and this gave him both pleasure and dismay. So when the girls were not there to welcome his car, when the girls were not there in the garden despite his shouting, "Hello, hello children, where you are?" This is what Robert Quick says to console himself, that probably the girls have gone somewhere to meet him, or probably they are hiding. So the very idea that the two girls are hiding for him, waiting for him, wanting to surprise him, gives a kind of mixed combination of pleasure and dismay. And he realizes that he has missed his daughters a lot. Finally, he still is not able to trace his daughters. And then he moves further. When he moves further, he realizes that the younger one, Jenny, is lying. And then the father waves, "Hello Jenny, hello, what are you doing?" And the reaction of Jenny is, Jenny merely turned her head slightly and peered at him through her hair. Then she dropped her cheek on the book as if to say, "Excuse me, it's really too hot." So the lines that have been used by the writer indicate that the father was very enthusiastic, full of love, wanting to meet his daughters, wanting to hug them, wanting to shower his love on them. But the first reaction of the younger daughter was that she takes her father very casually. "Okay, father, if you're shouting, I'm here. Why are you shouting?" This is what she meant by her body language. And when she sees her father approaching, she just looks at him through the long hair that she has, and just says, "Why are you disturbing me when I'm reading my book?" Now, this is not a regular reaction by the girls. This is something which is unique, which Robert Quick is not able to comprehend immediately. Now, the second reaction of his daughter, another daughter who is a year older, Kate. She was sitting on the swing, leaning sideways against a rope with the head down, apparently in deep thought, her bare legs blotched with mud. And to her father's "Hello, hello, hello," what does she say? She replies only in a faint, muffled voice, "Hello, Daddy." Faint, muffled voice. This is the reaction of Kate, who is a year elder to Jenny. Now, the responses of both the girls are something which the father is not able to understand. The line reads in the story, "Hello, Kate," but he said no more and did not go near. So this is the reaction of Robert Quick. He realizes at this point of time that he is not being given a warm reception and a warm welcome by the daughters. Both the daughters, they express the reaction of these daughters of their father reaching their house is not of great love and enthusiasm. It is as if to put into double quotes, "Okay, fine, if you have come, why are you bothering us? We are doing our work, you come home, you change and do your work." which comes as a jolt to Robert Quick because he is not expecting this kind of reaction from his girls. So in today's class, we will just take the first part of the story, the first 2 or 3 episodes, which impact Robert Quick. The first is when the daughters do not welcome him by stopping the car. The second is a very weak response and reaction by the daughters when the father is actually before them, though Robert Quick had anticipated much more than this. The rest of the story we'll be taking up in tomorrow's class. Thank you.